I'm Ann Trujillo with your Denver 7 update. Kirk Houston was a car guy. He built the engine of his 1970 Chevy from scratch. He was behind the wheel when a driver smashed into it and killed him. But this is not a story about Kirk Houston. This is about his family who went to pick up that truck from the impound lot and were met with a staggering bill from the tow company. And they spoke today with Contact 7's Lance Hernandez.
He didn't just put together normal engines. I mean, they were high performance.
This shop used to hum with activity. Kirk Houston rebuilt his pickup here. It's filled with vehicles he and his brothers were working on.
God gave him the talent that was unreal.
That work stopped in October of 2016 when Kirk was killed in a car crash.
Yeah, it's pretty lonely now. Used to a lot of a commotion and having fun, so that's why we don't come out here much now.
Kirk was heading to work on Haysmont Road when another driver behind the wheel of a stolen car dozed off and crashed into him. Kirk's family tried to get his pickup back.
The truck was like his baby.
But police kept it for evidence in the case against the other driver. It took nearly 2.5 years for the case to work its way through court. When the pickup was finally released, the Houstons were presented with a tow and impound bill.
I was dumbfounded, seeing it was $4,500.
The family refused to pay, not wanting to be victimized twice. The State Patrol worked to get the fees lowered to $1,500, but that was still too high. Kirk's mom says the 1970 Chevy isn't worth much, but the engine has sentimental value.
My youngest son said maybe they could take it out and raise it at Bandamere in memory of Kirk.
Lawmakers are now working on a bill to help crime victims who get stuck with tow and impound fees. The Houstons were so anxious for the court case to end, they didn't ask the other driver for restitution.
If we would have known at the time we would have had a bill for this, maybe it would have been nice if maybe that guy paid it.
We went to find the truck today and learned the engine has been sold. Lance Hernandez, Denver 7.
For as long as we can remember, politicians have been promising to fix health care. There have occasionally been successes, some big, some small, but it's undeniably frustrating to be hearing the same thing for so long. And as our Megan Lopez explains, Colorado lawmakers aren't waiting around for the feds to figure this out.
I'll make sure our state continues to lead. Check.
It's a checklist that makes the complexities of the Colorado healthcare system seem simple.
Check.
One by one, Governor Jared Polis marked off last year's to-do list as this year's done list.
We have been able to start making progress in just 1 year.
But between the camera flashes and claps and underlying reality.
No, we're not there. We're making progress. There's a lot more work to do.
Because the topic of healthcare is anything but simple. Like the fact that last year's reinsurance law did save some people money, like the insurance company's costliest clients, but not all.
Their premiums did go down, but in some cases, their federal tax credit went down even more.
So part of this session is dedicated to finding fixes.
We're working on finding funding sources to backfill them to make sure no one was harmed by that.
Another part is figuring out how to keep the programs past last session moving forward.
We need continued funding for the reinsurance program.
And then there could be some more radical changes in store, like a public option to offer health insurance through the state. But with all the things lawmakers are planning on adding, like covering fertility treatment, we wanted to know.
How do you balance this dichotomy of adding more services, but also saving people money and cutting on costs?
Yeah, it's very important to get the big things done to reduce costs. So you can do a few small things with the savings, like expand coverage and access with some of the savings.
Republican Representative Patrick Neville doesn't buy that, though.
The more we continue to add, we're going to only increase costs.
And he doesn't believe the public option will help either.
All those costs that it might save one consumer some money, but that's passed on to all the other consumers. And then overall, this is why we see those contributing factors to increasing cost of health care.
Competing views on a complex topic, all in the pursuit of cutting health care costs.
And let's save people money on health care.
That was Megan Lopez reporting. With more than 800,000 votes already cast and the primary only 5 days away, we finally have a poll that gives us some idea about who Colorado wants to win the Democratic nomination. Magellan Strategies has Senator Bernie Sanders with 27% of the vote. Second place is pretty much anyone's game. Elizabeth Warren has 15%, Pete Buttigieg at 12%. Michael Bloomberg and Joe Biden are tied at 11% each. And the polls show Sanders winning the support of nearly half the voters between the ages of 18 and 44. He ties Buttigieg with 20% each for the age group of 45 to 64. Bloomberg and Biden are neck and neck for the 65 and older vote. And we will begin streaming election results the moment the polls close on Super Tuesday. From 7 until 10, we will be reporting from the candidates' local election offices and hearing from our panel of experts. And you can watch through the Denver 7 app, whether that be on your phone, Apple TV, Roku, or Amazon Fire Stick. Thanks for watching this Denver 7 update. Make sure to download the Denver 7 app for your smartphone to get breaking news and alerts around the clock. I'm Ann Trujillo.